In my books, I have a type of sidebar called the aspirin-free workflow. The idea is these are special tips, like this entire series of productivity tips, that help you work without frustration, without having to take aspirin for a headache. Most of the time, when those aspirin-free workflow sidebars are in my books, I like to include a little symbol that looks like aspirin with a line through it or something else that communicates the idea. Now, depending on the publisher, that's not always possible. Sometimes it's just text, no graphics. This time, with this particular book, I can do it, so I created a little symbol. Now, the thing is, I've got an entire book, 500 some odd pages, where maybe every 10th or 20th page has at least one aspirin-free workflow on it. So if I wanted to put this symbol, I'll zoom in so you can see what it is. There we go. Just something I whipped up in Illustrator. If I wanted to put this symbol in front of the header, aspirin-free workflow, in every instance, I'd have to anchor it, copy, and then go through the entire book looking for every instance and paste that symbol in there. That's kind of a pain. In fact, it's a lot of a pain. So it's a fortunate thing that I don't have to do that manually because a GREP search will take care of putting it in for me. Anytime you want to put a symbol or a graphic or anything that you can copy to the clipboard, anytime you want to anchor that into a particular text style, it's pretty easy to do. So let me zoom back out just a bit here. And you can see I've got 3 identical copies of this sidebar. 4 if you count the one that's actually in the page. But I've got 3 identical copies. Here I have the symbol. I've put it in there. I've placed it into the document. I've put it in as an anchored object, and I've put a tab in there. So I'm going to highlight that and cut it out. Now, I'm going to go up to Edit, Find Change, and on the GREP tab, I want to put in parentheses, period, plus, close parentheses, and in the Find Format, I want to choose that paragraph's style, which I can see up here, fortunately, so it's Feature Pre-Title Aspirin. And that's this. Click OK. So now InDesign's going to search for usages of that particular paragraph style. Now I need to change it to tilde C $1. What that's doing is it's taking the contents. So in this case, it actually says aspirin-free workflow, and that's the content of this paragraph style. It's taking that and it's turning it into a variable, something that can be reused. Down here, the $1 is that variable. So it says take this content and put it back, change it back to that. But before you do that, insert the contents of the clipboard. Because I have that anchored frame on my clipboard, it's going to insert the anchored frame and the tab symbol in front of this and then put that back. And when I hit Find Next, Change, you can see that it happens. Find Next, move that out of the way, Change, then I'll hit Change All. Search is complete. Bunch of replacements were made. And I've got double tabs in here because apparently I forgot to delete those the first time around. And spaces, apparently. Okay, so they weren't entirely identical. This one worked, and the one on the page worked. It's because I manually edited these two that it screwed up. But it worked perfectly. Now, throughout the entire document, the entire 500-page book, I can do that. Just with the GREP search. And you can do it with anything. A picture, symbols for other types of headers. You can paste other text frames in. Whatever you can copy to the clipboard, you can have put back in there with the tilde C. And the text that you're replacing can be put in afterward. So this formula, again, says find this in this particular paragraph style, then change it to clipboard contents plus whatever was already there.